This is also a creative toy, which Carla enjoys working on so much that she asked her parents to buy her one so that she could play with it and work with it when I'm not with her.
Better watch out, they'll outdistance you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye. Bye, Joe.
Bye.
Bye, Carla. Can you wave bye? Bye-bye. Thank you, sweetheart. All right, Mr. Marvin.
Thank you, Phyllis. I think that's just wonderful to see all those children like that. Our next guest. Let's see. Let's meet. I know. Here's what we'll do. Let's meet now an occupational therapist from the Cerebral Palsy Center in Louisville. A young man who thinks that he has some pretty special friends. The child is Ricky Moody, age 6. The therapist is Pat Porter. Pat, where are we? Here.
Everybody moves around.
Just keep them going. Good morning, Pat. How are you today? Ricky, how are you? Huh? That's a nice big smile. Just smile out there towards the camera. Can you see where the camera is? And say hi to all your friends out there.
Say hi to Mother. She said she's home.
Oh, your mother's out there watching? Say hi to her. Excellent. Excellent. There we are, see. Pat, you want to tell us a little bit about the whole situation here?
As you said, Ricky is 6 years old. He's been coming to the center since September of '55.
Uh-huh.
So he's had
4
years
years
of
of training.
therapy. And Ricky's working on feeding himself and dressing himself and just in general learning to be a grown-up boy.
I understand he has a very great desire to be a grown-up boy.
Very much. He's ready to go to a special school now. And he thinks if he's old enough to go to school, he's old enough to do these things for himself.
He sure is. You notice that they work on these children, or with these children, I should say, so that they can be self-reliant. Because we mentioned earlier in the program, we're born with this, normal children are, that they learn how to take care of themselves very rapidly. But some of these children don't have that opportunity, so they have to be trained extensively so that they can have that mental security, which is otherwise deprived them. You want to show us something now? Show us how you take a bite of food. I think that'd be very interesting, don't you? Here we go. Peanut butter. I think you're cheating. Anybody would bite that.
That's Ricky's favorite.
I don't know, but mine too.
As you possibly can see, Ricky has an adapted spoon which holds the spoon onto his hand because he has a little trouble coordinating holding the spoon and moving his arm and finding his mouth at the same time. So this spoon just takes at least one of his problems away and he can be a little more self-reliant.
Well, there goes the peanut butter. That's the last we'll ever see of that load of peanut butter. I think that's wonderful, Ricky. It's a real pleasure talking to you. I think every one of these children you see here this morning is a graphic example of what the WHAS Crusade for Children is all about. Think it over carefully and send us your donations. Thank you.
You know, Lee and I were talking for a while this morning during the Crusade for Children, and we're stopping now to show you where the money from last year has gone and how it's being used. We, of course, join with all of the others you've seen on the Crusade for Children who urge you to give even more this year. Now, the surface has just been scratched in helping all of the children of Kentucky and southern Indiana. Of course, we want to continue working very hard so we can keep helping nice little guys like Jimmy Stevens, who's here with Gene Godfrey, his therapist. Good morning.
Hi.
Where did you get those freckles?
You can have them.
Did you hear that? He said I could have his freckles. What's the matter, Jimmy? Don't you like your freckles?
No.
Well, for goodness sake, have you been out in the sun? I bet all the girls like his freckles, don't they, Jean?
Oh, yes. We all, he's our favorite.
How old are you, Jimmy?
7.
And can you tell us what Miss Godfrey's been doing for you?
Working on me.
Working on you. I see. Jean, could you bring that to be a little more specific than Jimmy is?
Yes, at the age 7 months, Jimmy had a cerebral vascular accident which left his right side paralyzed, and he still has difficulty in using his right hand especially, but he is able to walk and has a lot of return and is improving. We use this splint to keep the hand in a better position and to prevent deformity.
I wonder, Jimmy, would you hold your hand up with the splint on it just a little bit so we can see it? That looks pretty complicated.
Yes, actually it is complicated, but he doesn't wear it all the time. He wears it just enough to keep his hand from tightening and being deformed. And it will help in the normal development of the hand.
Right. Well, Gene, we'd like to just sort of step out of the way and let you go ahead with Jimmy and show some of the work that he's able to do in his therapy.
All right, Jimmy. Well, he uses this. He's not able to grasp and release with his hand, but with the splint. That's right.
You can straighten it out, you say, honey? How long have you been working on that?
I don't know.
A long time, I'll bet.
Yeah.
He has improvement in his shoulder and elbow, and to a less extent in his hand, but it's coming along, and we expect that to return last.
He will have full facilities, you think, in his hands?
We hope so.
That's fine. What'd you like to be when you grow up, Jimmy?
A doctor?
Well, isn't that wonderful? Why do you want to be a doctor?
I don't know.
Have the doctors been pretty nice to you? Is Miss Godfrey pretty nice to you?
He is working on, he's completely independent in his dressing, and he's in the first grade this year. And we've been, except for the tying of his shoes, which of course takes the use of two hands, but he is working on tying his shoes with one hand, if you'd like to demonstrate that.
Oh, fine. Let's just move the table out. Can I help you here? Or... All right, we'll do a little moving here and see how well Jimmy can tie his... There we are. Now let me get around here so I can be sure and see this. All right. Do you want to move the table a little bit? How's that? Yeah. Okay, we're watching, Jimmy. Now he's untied the shoe. Now let's see you tie it, sweetheart.
He's still working on this. It's actually an adapted way of tying shoes, but it does make him independent in getting up in the morning and doing his own dressing and getting ready for school.
Jimmy, we think that's just wonderful, honey, that you've learned so much, and we thank you for coming up. You all set there? Huh?
Yeah.
Fine. Watch those freckles now. Don't let them get away, will you?
All right.
You told me I could have them, but I don't want...
They got glue on them.
They got glue on them. You think they just won't go away?
Yeah.
Jimmy, do you have any brothers and sisters?
Two sisters and no brothers.
2 sisters and no brothers. Are the sisters older or younger?
Older.
Did they...
Baba, I got 2 sisters. One named Linda and one named Shirley.
And how old are they?
5 and 8.
So one's older and one's younger. You get to be the boss part of the time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimmy, for so much. And Jean, thank you for coming. We think it's wonderful. Did Jimmy have anything else he'd like to show us this morning?
I think that'll be all of this morning.
All right, thank you so much. Isn't it heartwarming to see little guys like that? We talked earlier about tying a shoe, and to see little Jimmy tie a shoe with one hand. I know you want to give money, so I'm going to tell you how you can call and give money. Now, in Jeffersonville, Indiana, the 4-H club members of Clark County are collecting, and I suspect they'll be pounding on your door. In Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, the number is Tennyson 93112. So those are the numbers. Of course, our own phone number here is Juniper 55911. I know you'll be interested in seeing the demonstration we have this morning, and I know that after you see it, you'll just be so grateful that your children are all right, or perhaps you have a child that's been helped by Crusade funds. So we know that you'll want to give. And right now, Lee is ready to show us some more of our young people. Lee?
Thank you, Phyllis. You know, as you and I speak, we just do it automatically. Well, it's just like breathing to us. And how thrilled as parents we are when we hear the first word spoken by our children. Oh, it might be an ugh or some indistinguishable sound, but I prefer to think it's Daddy, and I guess Mommy prefers to think it's Mommy. You know, how would you express yourself if you couldn't speak? Well, this is not going to be a problem for many of our Kentucky and Southern Indiana children, thanks to your generous contributions and to the Crusade for the children last year. Now, let's meet some of these young people who are solving this problem. From the Southeastern Indiana Rehabilitation Center, these 2 young gentlemen and their instructor, Jack Reisinger. Good morning, Jack.
Hi, Lee.
What do we have here today?
These are 2 of the young men that are over at the Southeastern Rehabilitation Center. This is Billy Lisenby. He's been with us for about 4 months.
Hi.
Hi.
And this is David Stansel. David has been with us for quite a bit longer than the 4 months. In fact, David is just about finished. He's
Oh,
just
really?
about
He's
ready
just
to
about
be
through with
released.
his course,
Yes,
huh?
uh-huh.
Fine. Well, can you get these young men to show the public how some of these things are accomplished?
Sure, we'd like to demonstrate for you, Billy and I, how you place the tongue to make the L sound. Now, Billy, will you look right here to me? Open your mouth. All right, Billy, raise your tongue and put it right here. Raise it up. That's a boy. Good, good, fine. That's a boy. Now try this for me, Billy. La, la, la. Fine. Now, all right. Now, Bill, let's make sure our tongue touches the top each time. All right. Try it again. La, la, la.
Well, we got one song.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
We got one song.
Now, you
Try
know-
it once more, Bill. La, la, la.
La, 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 la,
Good.
la,
Good boy.
There you are.
Good boy. Now, David has been working on the R. Dave, could you come around here? Let's see if you can come around here with me. So that we can make sure to be it. Now, David and I have been working on the R sound, Lee. David, curl your tongue back for me. Open it wide, curl it back, and place it where we make the R sound. All right, try this for me.
R.
Good. Now let's demonstrate how we can use that R sound. David, what is this? What is that picture?
Car.
Good. Now, what color is the barn? What color is the barn?
Cuckoo.
Is it a red barn? Say red for me.
Red.
Yes,
No,
that throws
pink,
them off a
not
little because it's a little orange, and I keep
Yeah.
calling it red for them. That's pretty good, David. Thank you very much.
Watch your step and don't trip when you go around there. I want you people out front to notice that these two young gentlemen each have in their hands a dollar bill that they are later going to deposit in this WHAS Crusade for Children. I think that's pretty terrific. When they give their money, I think that's about as far as you can go. Could you just tell us a couple of the other simpler problems of all the speech therapy and the problems?
Well, actually, this we have just demonstrated is the articulation problem, which is simply the misuse of sounds and sometimes the inability to make the sound at all. One of the other chief difficulties in speech therapy, of course, is stuttering. And this is an area that, though we don't like to admit it, we are still somewhat in the dark. And it's sort of catch as catch can. We have several children that are stutterers, but we don't have any with us this morning. This was the articulation group. Of course, this we consider a functional difficulty, an articulation problem. We're not quite sure just what sort of difficulty stuttering is, whether it's organic or whether it's just functional. By functional, I mean simply that we don't know of any physical difficulty that's causing what we have here. We think in terms of it simply being a misfunction of an otherwise healthy organ.
Well, you know, the thing I was very aware of is that most of my friends tell me that I have an awfully big mouth, that I'm just talking all the time. And I can make myself understood, which is very important to my way of living. And it's extremely important to these children's way of living because without being understood, people would possibly avoid them. And in so avoiding, also eventually give them a mental injury. So this is why at a very young age, I'm sure you try to solve this problem.
That's our job.
Fine. All right, now let me just go over. Oh, there's Phyllis. She's ready. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Lee. I'd like to remind all of you that you're in tune with WHAS TV. Another thing that I would like to talk about is our phone number, of course, because the things you're seeing I know makes you want to give. Our number is Juniper 55911.